Now at 10, unrest for the police force in Goodman, Missouri. Why every member of that police department has resigned. Plus, the Carthage School District looks to the future following a failed bond proposal last night. And the Carthage Tigers aim to start a winning streak against the Willard Tigers. Highlights in sports.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
The aftermath of yesterday's elections leaves Goodman, Missouri without a city police force. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Ember Jenkins has details.
Crime is down. The drugs and dealing and all that is down until today.
All 9 police officers in Goodman resigned after John Bunch became mayor-elect. The former police chief made a Facebook post alleging that the mayor-elect threatened the department multiple times.
And they're very familiar with the mayor-elect, and they choose not to work with him. It has nothing to do with me or anybody else.
During Fisher's term as mayor, he says he supported the police department by trying to join forces with other neighboring police departments.
They were on board. We could have had 24/7 coverage. It's something that we could never achieve on our own, and we could have saved between $65,000 to $70,000 a year because we wouldn't have the fuel. And
as Fisher hands mayor duties to Bunch, he's weary of the community safety.
Once that comes out, we have no police department. Well, I'm afraid the drug dealer stuff like that's going to have a new headquarters. But he knew this was coming whenever he signed up. He knew these officers would not work for him. And
the resigning of the entire police department isn't exactly a surprise to city officials. In fact, Adam Miller, the former police chief, informed city officials that the department would not function under John Bunch's term. Now, the city of Goodman is wondering what is going to happen next with the police department. Reporting in Goodman, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Now the McDonald County Sheriff's Office will handle the patrolling in Goodman. We did reach out to Mayor-elect Bunch for comment, but we have not yet heard back. The Carthage School District school bond proposal fails yet again, leaving plans for new facilities up in the air. The Carthage school bond proposal did not reach the supermajority it needed to pass, leaving school leaders to decide what's next. Part of the bond would have gone toward a new baseball field. The city deemed the current field unusable. Most of the bond money would have funded a new multi-purpose auditorium with a needed safety feature.
Performing Arts Center is going to have classrooms and the auditorium part, but also a tornado shelter for about 2,000 people. The high school right now does not have a tornado shelter.
Baker says the plan for the auditorium had been in place since 2005. This display, taking shape outside the Joplin Police Department, is intended to turn heads and help turn around lives. The JPD today put pinwheels in their front lawn in recognition of Child Abuse Awareness Month. Child Abuse America introduced the Pinwheels for Prevention campaign back in 2008. And every April for a number of years, the JPD has participated with this moving reminder that we all can play a role in children's lives.
The biggest thing, we talk about is those safe adults, right? And so that could be a neighbor, it could be a teacher, it could be somebody going to church, it could be a coach, it could be anything. And really just noticing whenever kids maybe honestly just be off a little bit and trying to pay attention and notice what's going on.
The JPD planted more than 130 pinwheels. A 23-year-old man in Pittsburgh says he was shot in the street by someone he knew. Pittsburgh police said the shooting happened around 3 this morning on the 1500 block of North Smelter Street. When they arrived, they found the victim, who said he was shot by a known associate of his in the middle of the street. The man was taken to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Still, no word on the name of the victim or the alleged shooter. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now has our first look at the weather.
Well, of course, we had the showers, we had the thunderstorms last night, severe weather lasting all the way into the morning hours. And then we sat mainly mid-50s, upper 50s for highs, but we actually had a midnight high. You can see that's after midnight before the front rolled in. And then we dropped to 39 degrees, our average high is 67 for this time of the year. But it's going to be a cold night. We got frost advisory, we got freeze warning, as temperatures are going to get right around freezing later on tonight. Not much going on here, pretty much clear skies. This storm system is heading away from us, which is good news. For the night, though, it gets cold. Drop down to 35. We rebound to 47 by 10 a.m. So we are going to have those frost and freeze warnings. Kind of chilly tomorrow. We are going to warm up as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at your Easter forecast as well. All coming up here in just a little bit.
In Kansas are cleaning up damage left by an early morning storm. Residents say the strong winds sounded like a tornado. Those winds caused roofs to rip off, threw trampolines into trees, even rolled a small storage building. Residents say they've never seen anything like this around that area.
It just looked like total destruction. Like I said, the whole roof came off and it was just scattered all over the street. Other buildings on the same stretch have busted out windows. There was tin all over the place and limbs, and it just, looked like a tornado went through.
Residents say half the town didn't have power, and a gas line busted, which caused part of the community to evacuate the area around the line in the morning. During the storm, Chanute, Kansas went dark. Security footage from the Bank of Commerce on Main Street shows the moment's heavy winds first hit that southeast Kansas community, and boom, just like that, it knocked out the power to nearly all of Chanute. A building on 101 South Grant in Chanute has heavy damage. Several trees were brought down. Some buildings have roof damage. The city manager says a majority of the businesses on Main Street have broken windows. A majority do. The loss of power caused Chanute schools to cancel classes today. The Chanute Martin Johnson Airport reported wind gusts of up to 80 miles per hour overnight, and the strong winds tore apart the garages at one apartment complex. In eastern Missouri, at least 5 people are dead. Multiple people are injured after an early morning tornado. It happened in Bollinger County, where homes and trees were flattened by the storm. Governor Mike Parson toured damage in the town of Glen Allen. He tweeted today the Missouri State Emergency Operations Plan and the Missouri National Guard are still active in response to severe weather. High winds and severe storms also did damage in parts of Berryville, Arkansas. Nicolette Zangara shows us how schools in that area came together to clean up before the class day began.
Definitely, with Little Rock and wind last week, it definitely had me a little more nervous.
Joey Curtis, the assistant principal of Berryville High School and district facilities director, says it was a busy morning. Around 5:30 a.m., severe storms moved through the area and prompted a tornado warning until 6:15 a.m. It was during this time a storage building roof was ripped apart. Thankfully, Curtis and the rest of the school were not alone in cleanup efforts.
We got most of it cleaned up. The junior high football team and a bunch of our coaching staff, they all pitched in and helped us move all the stuff that we had in storage, because we use this building for storage now. So there's no kids in there ever, but we got a lot of the stuff that we could save. We got it out and got it to a dry area.
Besides the cleanup before school started, this storm knocked out the Wi-Fi and phone lines for several hours. But everything was back up and running by noon.
The staff at Berryville High School and Middle School feel fortunate that this is the only damage on their campus from the storms this morning. Coming up, the possibility of another criminal case against former President Trump. I'll tell you about Mike Pence's role. We'll have the latest on that investigation. Plus, one of the most powerful names in American politics announces his bid for president. One day after former President Trump was arrested and charged with 34 felony crimes, there's news about another criminal case against him. Today, former Vice President Mike Pence said he will not appeal a judge's order to testify about Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Reporter Skylar Henry has the latest on that investigation.
An advisor to former Vice President Mike Pence says he could testify before a federal grand jury within weeks. His testimony could offer investigators a first-hand account of how Donald Trump pressured Pence to overturn the 2020 election and what Trump was doing on January 6th. Pence has said Trump endangered his family and everyone else at the Capitol that day.
When the mobs were attacking the Capitol, trying to stop the election, what did the president tell Vice President Pence, if anything, before, during, after? What about the various schemes that were used to try and keep Mr. Trump in office.
Last night, Trump railed against this and 3 other criminal investigations he faces.
The criminal is the district attorney.
The comments came just hours after he pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. The New York judge warned Trump to refrain from social media posts that cause civil unrest. Later, at his club in South Florida, in front of his supporters, Trump blasted the judge.
I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and family.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre would not comment specifically on Trump's remarks, but said generally,
we condemn any type of attacks on any judge.
Despite his solemn demeanor, Trump called Tuesday the best day in history, claiming he raised $10 million. His campaign will use that money for his 2024 campaign and his legal defense. Trump's lawyers say they will mount an aggressive effort to have the charges dismissed. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Trump's next court appearance is set for December 4th. He's going to speak at the National Rifle Association Convention in Indianapolis next week. President Joe Biden will have some competition next election from one of the most powerful names in American politics. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to run for the Democratic nomination for president. The 69-year-old environmental lawyer and anti-vaccine activist said last month he was considering a run. He said his top priority will be to end the corporate merger between state and corporate power. RFK Jr. is the nephew of the late President John Kennedy. Doug Hetty is next with a complete look at the forecast. And a little bit later, Joplin Church hosts an outdoor Stations of the Cross event ahead of Easter.
Well, of course, we had showers, thunderstorms last night, severe weather. In fact, our 5th day that we've already seen severe weather, our 5th event, which is quite a few that occurred last night into the morning hours. Not a lot of rain with these storms. A lot of wind, a lot of hail. We only had about 0.2 of an inch of rain officially at the airport in Joplin for the month. That's where we're at. For the year, 7.7 inches, right where we should be. So we're right on target rainfall-wise for 2023. Look at these temps yesterday into the 80s. Look at this drop, 74 to 46 early this morning when the front rolled through. And then you can see we only rebounded into the mid-50s during the afternoon hours. So that's why we have temperatures right now that are 25, 26, 27 degrees colder than what we did see this time last night. And eventually we're going to be dropping back all the way down into the 30s later on tonight. All right, by 11 p.m., 45, 36 by 7 a.m. Overnight low about 35. We do rebound to 47 by 10 a.m. Now we are going to have some clouds kind of in and out late tonight into tomorrow, but in general, it looks okay. Pretty much clear skies for us right now. You can see our storm system that gave us the showers and thunderstorms heading away from us. So let's go back east. Actually, let's go back west. Here's our next storm system, and you can see that system will start to affect us by the time we head into, let's say, the second half of the weekend. It's a fairly weak system. We're actually going to get a nice little stretch, about a 9-day stretch that we are severe weather free across the area. Let's step through the next 48 hours. Look at these temps. 35 in Pitt by morning, Miami, 36 in Neosho, Nevada, about 34 degrees. Most of us will go into lower 50s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, 58 in Stockton, Bella Vista 59, 59 in Miami, 60 in Independence. Not a bad day, but still a little bit on the chilly side. Tomorrow night again, we drop back mid-30s. For overnight lows. So we're going to get near that freezing mark once again. Then as we go into Friday, Friday looks great. Look at the winds out of the southeast, 64 in Lamar, 64 in Neosho, Parsons, 65, 66 in Miami. And then as we head into the weekend, it's not going to be quite as cool to start the day on Saturday. So we get a couple really nice days. Here's your day planner tomorrow, 44 by 9, 55 by 1, upper 50s. Late in the afternoon, we are going to have some clouds, but in general, it looks pretty good across the region. Let's go ahead and move into the weekend. We have Easter weekend. Saturday, I think, looks pretty good. Mid-60s, even upper 60s for afternoon highs. Easter, in general, looks okay. It's a little chilly for morning services into the lower 40s, and then once we get into the afternoon, we're going to warm through the 50s, 60s, eventually near 70. Now, you can see a few showers that will try to sneak in. So late in the day on Sunday, we could get a few random showers, but most of the weekend shaping up pretty good. 59 tomorrow, 63 Friday, 67 Saturday, 72 on Easter, 72 on Monday, continuing to warm up next week. Next chance for severe weather doesn't move in until next Friday and Saturday.
Doug, thanks. Joplin Church is getting in the Easter spirit a little bit early. St. Mary's Catholic Church hosted an outdoors Station of the Cross at Mercy Park. Officials say it's a great way to head into Easter.
We decided instead to have some outdoor stations. The weather's pretty nice, and thought it'd be a beautiful opportunity to share that story also amongst God's beautiful creation. We have signs that the younger students at St. Mary's School have colored, and so they will hold each station as some of the older students will help with the readings and the reflections and the prayers.
You can find more Easter activities on our website, koamnewsnow.com/events. Still ahead, Missouri Southern Softball welcomes in faculty and staff for a unique practice this afternoon. And the Carthage Tigers play their conference opener against Willard. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more up next.
The Carthage Tigers snapped a 7-game losing streak last night, beating Seneca 3-2 in extra innings. Well, tonight, Carthage is right back on the field, looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season, facing COC rival Willard in their first conference game of the spring. Now, tonight's game being played at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin. We'll pick it up top of the third. Already 2-0 Willard. Clayton Kaiser hits a line drive to right. Landon Moore comes home. Makes it 3-0 Willard. Moving ahead to the top of the fifth now. Willard got the lead to 5. Kaiser again. Check it out. Hits this one off the short porch out there in right field. He turns this into an RBI triple. Pushes the Willard lead to 6-0. Cooper Wilkin on the mound for Willard tonight. He was really good here in the first. Gets the swing and the miss. Then in the fourth, same result. Fifth inning, they're still swinging and missing. Willard dominates in this one from start to finish. They beat Carthage 10-0 in 6 innings. The St. Louis Cardinals finish up their 3-game series with the Atlanta Braves this afternoon. And the Cards try to avoid the sweep today after dropping the first 2 games of the series on Monday and Tuesday. St. Louis enters today at 2-3 overall in their first 5 games. Second inning, Atlanta already up 3-0. Matt Olson solo homer off Miles Michaelis. That makes it 4-0 Braves. To the 7th inning now, Braves up 5-0. Jordan Walker, though, gets St. Louis on the board, connects on this one. Solo homer to left. Cuts the lead to 5-1, but 8th inning, same score. Paul Goldschmidt up, gets a hold of this one. Deep to center field, but not deep enough. Look at Michael Harris out there. Robs Goldschmidt of the home run. Braves take care of business. They sweep the Cardinals, winning today 5-2. Kansas City Royals also in action tonight, hosting Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Blue Jays. Tonight, Royals get shut out 3-0. It's the 3rd time they've been shut out in the first 6 games of the season. The Missouri Southern Lions have been one of the best softball teams in the country this season. The Lions have won 8 games in a row, and they're in first place in the MIAA with an 11-1 conference record. Southern hosts rival Pittsburgh State this weekend, but today they had a little fun welcoming faculty and staff out to practice to get a taste of life on the field.
Nice! About took my ankle off there. Student athletes, I think a lot of people, professors see them in the classroom and we get to see them on the field, but this way professors can see them doing what they love to do also. Okay. Nice little shot there. We get to see our kids outside of softball to get to know them as a person, and I think this will facilitate professors and staff being able to see them outside of the classroom setting so they can see them as an athlete too. Yes! I'm excited for our kids to interact with them as well, and just to see, the 2 worlds collide basically.
It was so much fun. I had some girls that invited me, and I was so happy that they did because they're doing so great this season, and I wanted to watch them and I wanted to participate. Woo! Nice. I was kind of proud of myself that I actually made contact. They're such good girls. They're a great group, and I couldn't be prouder of the Missouri Southern softball team.
It takes a village to achieve success, especially at this level, and I hope that's what people get out of today.
Obviously a cool event today and a big weekend coming up for the Lions hosting Pittsburgh State on Saturday.
And they should have some nice weather
For sure.
for that. We'll be right back. You might remember the case of a dog found in Noel, Missouri with an arrow in its head. Yeah, well, that dog is now ready for adoption. Sherry Carter has fostered Noel, the dog, not the town. The dog is recovered from the incident. Noel gets her name from where she was found, Noel. Noel was found on February 28th with an arrow in the head. Authorities did charge a man in that case, and now the dog needs a loving home to take her in following her recovery, and Sherry says there is a catch.
He said there is no long-lasting effects, other of course than emotionally, and I know people will argue that, but I believe that she will always have a hard time trusting, but I think that, again, you can earn that trust really easily with her.
As you might gather from this video, Noelle is a mother. Yeah, she has some puppies. If you're interested in adopting Noelle, or maybe one of those cute little puppies, you can find out how to do that on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Doug Heddy has a final check of the weather.
Well, of course, a cold night tonight. Most of us drop back 34, 35 degrees across the region. Partly sunny tomorrow, 59, 63 on Friday. And look at this. The weekend looks great, 67, 72 on Easter. We could get a few showers Sunday evening, a couple random showers into Monday, but temperatures over the next week look fantastic.
Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.